Greenbush. Oh, hello and welcome here to the Hive. I'm Jason Groth with Lance Rock as we get ready for wrestling action between the Yellow Jackets of Perham and Howard Lake Waverly Winstead. The Lakers come to the Hive tonight. Lance, and nice to see wrestling action back here on the Magnitude Sports Network.
Right, we had a little precautionary COVID there, so the wrestlers have been on away from the mat for a little while. So pretty exciting to see them back. And if you've been missing wrestling action, we're glad that you could join us tonight. And we're looking forward to, again, it's been one of those years, Jason. It's nice to see different competitions. So I don't ever remember a contest with Howard Lake Waverly Winstead Lakers. I know we've met them in NYWA, so though you wrestling fans who recognize the youth wrestling program, we've seen them a few times way back when, but now it's fun to see them here, and it's quite a trek. I did a little Google Maps there, 154 miles from Perham, about a 2.5-hour trip. So awesome for them to come. And the third team in the try today will be a familiar foe in Badger, Greenbush, Middle River, and the Gators come to town, and we usually see them a couple times a year. So interesting as they're going to bring in some quality wrestlers, and it'll be interesting to see who's ready to go tonight with, I think, more than Perham. Howard Lake Waverly had the same sort of couple-week layoff here, so we'll see if kids are winded, how they got back in the wrestling room. So it should be a fun triangular tonight.
It definitely should. We'll take a quick timeout and come back and have the start of this contest here live from the Hive on the Magnitude Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Jen Hendrickson, mortgage lender at United Community Bank. Whether you're buying, building, or refinancing, we are here to help you through the process and answer all of your questions. Mortgage rates are great right now. You can check out our website at ucbankmn.com to get pre-approved, sign up for Rate Watch, and check out our mortgage rate calculators. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Magnitude Sports has delivered over 1,000 broadcasts capturing all fourth quarter comebacks, walk-off home runs, buzzer beaters, 62-point volleyball sets, and double overtime victories. The excitement is on Magnitude Sports. Over 150 teams from 5 states and 2 countries have been featured on Magnitude Sports at both the varsity and sub-varsity levels. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and select your alert preference so you never have to miss that big moment from your favorite area sports team. Find us on Facebook and Twitter too. This is the Magnitude Sports Media Network.
We're back here at the Hive as we get ready to go for wrestling action tonight. I'm Jason Groth with Lance Rock. The Perham Yellow Jackets getting ready to take on the Howard Lake Waverly Winstead Lakers in a return to action for the Yellow Jackets after a short hiatus as they get ready to go. And I'm sure they're excited to be back on the mat and get. We got Chandler Mickelson against Tegan Miller to start things off, and what should be an exciting match. And Chandler Mickelson has really stepped into a big role for the Yellow Jackets, Lance.
Right, he's kind of been the Spitfire spark plug for us, and he's starting out right away. It looks like good action happening here. Looking to kind of get that front headlock into. We'll look for him to pick that ankle if he can or snap behind, but good job by Miller there, working hard to keep him from doing that. But great start to the year for Chandler Mickelson, and here he goes on that same type move. He does get the leg hooked, gets his 2-point takedown to start it off, and that's just the way he started off the whole season here. It's been so fun to watch him grow into this spot. He's got an 18-4 record to start the year for the Yellow Jackets, and every home event we've had, Jason, he just does what he's doing right now, gets that early takedown, kind of leaves no doubt, and then works his way towards bonus points.
I want to let you know we apologize early. We will not have the scoreboard operational this weekend. We apologize for that due to some technical difficulties, so we will try to keep you up to date as much as we possibly can. Mickelson leads 2-0 right now in our first match here at the Hive at 1:06 to kick off tonight's triangular between the Yellow Jackets and the Lakers, and then the Gators and the Lakers and the Yellow Jackets and the Gators later tonight.
Right, so 3 good matches here, and we're watching a little bit different ride for Mickelson here as he's just trying to drag him over. He hooked that leg and got that boot in, and doing a nice job here, but equally as nice, Miller is fending it off, which a lot of wrestlers haven't been able to do yet. So good, Miller, a 7th grader, coming into tonight. And I don't have the Lakers records. We got 15 seconds remaining here, still a 2-0. Looking for back points here is Mickelson, but Miller doing just an excellent job, but a nice, hard, deep waist ride now by Mickelson.
Will end up being a 2-0 first period for the Yellow Jackets. Really 2-0 heading into the second period between Miller and Mickelson.
It was Mickelson's choice. He deferred. So deferred, and Miller takes down, which he did not get an escape. And it was kind of a long ride there for Mickelson. So let's see if it's a quick start here or a spin, or he does get up to his base, but Mickelson again back in, hooks that Iowa and gets back into looking to tilt again, and is in a kind of a good position. And that's one of the things that I've seen about Mickelson all year is his hips seem to be in the right spot to get these points. And here comes a tilt, and Miller does go over. Not really a pinning move usually, but a good way to get your points. And nice job by Mickelson there, and he changes from move to move. They have not awarded the points yet, and there it is. So 3-point takedown for Mickelson, and they're off the mat.
Nice lead so far for Mickelson, kind of setting that tone like he does for the Yellow Jackets early on with that strong start to the season at 18-4.
Right, and I don't think it was ever a question of Chandler's ability, as there's an escape for Miller. There was never a question of ability. It was building his body into being able to be a 106-pounder, and now he is, and it looks like just such a great fit for him. Another great shot there by Mickelson, defended well by Miller. So these two guys, this is a really nice match to get it started again, and this is what I think the Yellow Jackets wanted to see. As we're building to tournament time next week, get some good opponents in here, work hard, and get your lungs back and get ready for tournament time. And there, again, we're just got a series and a nice job of a little whip there as he missed out on the single, and this is tight right now with 35 seconds to go, and there's the fall. So nice job, and it's exactly what the Yellow Jackets have needed out of Mickelson, and he gives them the early 6-0 lead. So nice job by Mickelson, again getting us started in what looked to be a really close contested match. Now coming out for the Yellow Jackets will be Johnny Ramos, a 7th grader, and Tony Bauman, an 8th grader, coming out for Howard Lake Waverly Winstead Lakers. So Bauman versus Ramos.
Well, one thing I was going to kind of touch on, I think you touched on, and we'll hit on it throughout the broadcast. You talk about maintaining weight with Chandler Mickelson. How key is that going to be with the Yellow Jackets, and actually probably Howard Lake Waverly Winstead coming off that COVID protocol delay and shutdown for a few weeks. Fortunately, they have a week before playoff or sections to get ready for that, but that's got to play a big role in these kids as they try to get ready for the section playoff tournament time as well.
Right, and I think for a lot of these kids, they kept their diet pretty well. They probably were exercises. There's a takedown for Bauman. They were probably exercising at home or wherever they could get exercising in, trying to keep those lungs built up. I don't think you can ever replicate what happens in a wrestling room. I was amazed when when my son started to do this, and what they do in that wrestling room is amazing. And so it's going to be interesting. And Chandler didn't show any signs of being winded. Of course, he didn't go all 3 periods. So it'll be interesting to see in some of these matches where the guys are the upper weights if we start to see some of that windedness. So a minute to go here in the first period. We have an escape by Ramos. And so it's 2-1 in favor of Bauman. 2-1 in favor of Bauman. And looks like 2 pretty evenly. 8th grader Bauman, 7th grader Ramos. And they're battling really well. And I'd like to see Johnny open up his offense a little bit. I think it's one of those things as you're a 7th grader, sometimes it's hard to get that offense going as there's another takedown for Bauman with 40 seconds left in the period. It's hard to think you have to be the aggressor. And, it's kind of like sometimes we see some young guards in basketball that it's hard for them to try to take over a team.
You look at that. Bauman just on the attack makes it now 8-2. And he's off to a strong start here. In this opening period, Yellow Jackets lead the team score 6-0, 20 seconds to go in our first period.
Right, and escape there for Ramos and another takedown for Bauman. And
excuse me, 6-2.
I think it's 6-2.
It is 6.
We're trying to look through the bars of the so you have to excuse us once in a while if we get the score wrong. We're trying to look through the safety bars of the bleachers, and it kind of makes 6s look like 8s and some other ones. So 13 seconds left here and a nice deep waist ride by Bauman, and I think he's going to be looking for back points as we go, and they're definitely trying to cut that score down with his bonus points. So here's the end of the first period, 6-2 in favor of Bauman. And choice goes to the Lakers, and they defer, which is a common thing. And for most of the time, especially if you have the lead, they're going to let Ramos make the choice, and Ramos chooses down. And maybe he went neutral. Maybe he changed his mind there. I looked down to write it in my paper, and he chose nope. I excuse me for not paying attention the way I should. Bauman lets him up. So 6-3, Bauman back in that front headlock, maybe looking for that same type of whipping action that Mickelson used in the first one.
Well, we touched on it, and I think every wrestling broadcast, how important it is you get that early lead now is to avoid giving up the bonus points here in this situation.
Yep, and that's sometimes, we've talked about it in the past, it's sometimes a win when you maybe are a little overmatched. If you don't give up more than you're expected to, it can be a win. So glad to have the Lakers here from Howard Lake Waverly. They come another 2-point takedown. So 8-3 now, another 2-point takedown for Bauman. And an 8-3 lead. But Section 4A, some familiar names come out of that section, so they also come from good competition. Atwater, Cosmos, Grove City, who's been a multiple-time state place winner. Kimball area is in there. Sibley East is in there. So good competition that these young men see all the time as well. So it's probably nice for them to get out of that area as well and come here. So looking to put the arm bar in, and Ramos does a nice job of fighting that off. So good job by Johnny. I know it's 8-3. There's 45 seconds remaining here in the second period, but I was expecting maybe some back points here. Good ride here by Bauman, and he's really keeping Johnny flat, trying to roll that wrist underneath. Johnny's not giving him that wrist. He's doing a good job. He's kind of got his leg in a bad way here, so maybe I'm trying to look through the bar of the track here too. Now we go for a power half. So this Bauman definitely is no stranger to the mat, as that was really good chain wrestling. Went from about 4 different moves there. So 7 seconds remaining, and also a great job there by Johnny Ramos fighting that off. referee's position here for the last 7. Johnny tries a quick step up, but taken right back down to the mat by Bauman, and it'll be Bauman's choice in the third period. Up 8-3. He takes the down position. So down position for the start of the third. 8-3 lead. He quick step up. Johnny with a nice return tries to lock up that arm bar there, but as he tried, Bauman steps up in a tripod. Johnny trying to stretch him out a little bit, take him to the mat, and Johnny's got to be careful here. He's getting awful high, and there's the escape for Bauman. So now it's 9-3, 6-point lead. So that takedown, Jason, is what you were talking about. All of a sudden, it'll become 11-3, which will be a 4-point major decision for the Lakers. Johnny, great job of shot in there. Might have been a little too far out. Allowed that front head, and there's another 2-point takedown for Bauman, who's stretching this lead out now. And there's the 2 points that we said with 1:15 remaining, 11-3 now. And he's working on his armbar, but you can probably see it on camera. We got a really good angle. Johnny's really fisting up, trying to not give it up. And they're in a good spot on the mat, because if he does roll them over, there's a good chance they might go off. Now you can see the smart wrestler that Bauman was kind of trying to pull him back onto the mat. But here we go, and it looks like they're dangerously close to being off, but you can see Bauman's shoulders still on the mat and head. So that new rule a couple years ago, as he starts, he got a count of 1. As long as a body part's on, and now it's actually Johnny who's on the mat. So Bauman's 25 seconds remaining. We've had a bunch of 1 counts here, and Johnny's just trying to drive and get out, and there's the escape. And 17 seconds remaining now. And it looks like 14-4. I missed the back points, I think, there. So a 10-point lead. I was thinking maybe they didn't leave where it was a count of 1. 12 seconds remaining. It says 14-4 on the score clock, so we'll see if that stays. Would be a major decision. And Bauman's not wrestling like it was that. And there's another takedown. Yeah, they changed the score clock back, which is what I thought. It was a 7-point lead, and Johnny was trying, but Bauman gets that last second takedown for a 13-4 win and a 4-point major decision, which brings the score to 6-4 heading into 120.
Caleb Bowes for the Lakers will step up here.
Versus Caden Felt for the Yellow Jackets. Caleb Bowes was last year's section runner-up in their section, placed 6th at state, and is currently ranked 9th at 120 pounds in Class A by the Guillotine. So formidable, to say the least, opponent here for Caden Felt. Caden, one of the things with Caden, his length at 120 makes him a tough wrestler to go. But here's Bowes up high. Let's see what Caden does. 2-point takedown there for Bowes to get him started. And now he settles back in and looks like he's really comfortable in awkward positions to start off with, because it was kind of a dangerous spot he was in. Now he's looking to kind of cheap tilt Felt over, but strong, compact. So here's 2 different style of wrestlers, the long, leaner Felt and the little bit shorter, more compact Bowes. 45 seconds remaining in period number 1, and I think Caden's going to have to work up here a little bit, maybe try to get his head going, but it's tough when you got that wrestler on your shoulders, and you know as soon as you get your head up, he's trying to work in a move that you don't want him to. So a tough spot here with a really good wrestler, but 2-0 for Bowes, 24 seconds remaining.
When you look at this Howard Lake Waverly Winsted team, Section 4A, sitting, behind some powerful teams in that section. Atwater, Cosmos Grove City, and Kimball area, familiar squads that are usually making noise down at state tournaments.
Right, and for those of you who just 3 seconds remaining in this period, 2-0. So good job by Felt for not giving up more. As you saw a plethora of moves there, Bo's trying to put in a cradle at the last. But for those of you with the Atwater Cosmos, there's the ACGC is what you hear them a lot in this area. So if you're wondering about that team, that is it. So Bo's is down. Takes the down position. Quick stand-up. Nice ride there by Felt. Tried to do a little move, and I don't know. I'm just kind of getting the feeling here, Jason, that there's going to be a big move coming one way or another. And I know Felt likes to use some stuff, too, that gets him a little cement mixer-type action. But we'll see. And he got a little high here, and he's going to let Bose get the reversal.
Bose just definitely seems like that veteran on the mat, doing a great job, and his experience there kind of took over there in that position.
Right,
he's just an 8th grader.
And he's an 8th grader. So last year as a 7th grader, placing 6th at the state, which is pretty impressive. But he's real fluid, Jason, and that's one of the things I think you'll see. A minute 15 in the second period, he never seems like he's in a bad position. And I've only watched him now for 3 minutes, but he never gets himself in that bad spot, and that's one of those things you see out of really quality wrestlers. They're not giving up that big move. So here he's working. Felt's in a bad spot right here, and sheer muscle just throws him over, and this is going to be a tough one with 50 seconds remaining for Felt. And there it is. I thought maybe with his arm trapped underneath, we would be able to see him stay out of that, but that pin puts the Lakers up 10-6, heading into 1:26.
Gareth Covington out for the Yellow Jackets.
Wrestling at 126 pounds for the Lakers, 8th grader Joel Markton, and from Perham, senior Gareth Covington.
And sorry for the pause there, viewers at home. Covington comes out right away, and this is Marketon. He's an 8th grader against probably one of the leaders, Gareth Covington. Current record 13-9 for Gareth Covington, a super hard worker. Marketon, an 8th grader, bumping up from 120. So definitely the Lakers doing some movement, and that's why we hesitate. 106 was a different wrestler than we had, so we're trying to get you accurate information here. So if we don't get you the names right away, I apologize for that, as I just want to make sure as Covington has the cradle hooked in, trying to get to the knee to the side, and I think he'll try, if he doesn't get the pin right away, is try to hook that leg, and there he did. As they hook the leg, a quick fall. Gareth Covington with the fall.
And we'll try to keep you updated on the chats here with the scores as it progresses throughout the night. Perham now leads in the team score 12-10 after 1:26. And Casey Deers is on the match against Carson Byer at 1:32.
Yeah, so again, a 9th grader here for the Yellow Jackets. The Lakers up 12-10. I know that the Lakers probably have well scouted. We have Jack Fudge coming up and Brian Ramos, and I know that they want to get some points here. Deers as a senior versus Byer as a 9th grader.
That's the Yellow Jackets actually with the 2 pins that have the 12-10 lead. So they're still probably doing the scouting to find out the point situation.
Yeah,
but
my mistake there. 12-10 in favor of the Yellow Jackets. So great start to this. Good battle here starting. Byer is just one of those kids who's getting better and better every match and getting stronger and stronger. So let's see where he's at here against Mr. Casey Deers.
And I'm going to ask, when you have a layoff like the Yellow Jackets did, I know some guys were still able to practice and compete. How much do you think that plays a role mentally, in a mental aspect like that, because you lost a couple of big meets?
Right, and you know, the last time the Yellow Jackets wrestled, it wasn't probably one that they wanted to remember. Not because they didn't wrestle well or hard, but just they were wrestling some really quality opponents, and kind of came up on the short end of the stick there. And granted, they were without some of their better wrestlers at that point too. And I say better, probably more experienced wrestlers and wrestlers you count on. So one of the things you want to see is who's going to be that next man up and stepping up. And that's that extra practice in the weight room and in the wrestling room. And I know that when I get at school here in the morning, the wrestlers are up. Some of them are up there. And so, I think they're trying to replicate 2 weeks off, but it's hard to do. It's hard to set up this atmosphere of two teams facing each other and having this big mat. I don't know how you do it. I know that Coach Vetch and Coach Trout do an awesome job of setting these kids up for success. And, I know they wrestle sometimes. They brought some kids in to wrestle. And so those are some ways that I think you can, but I don't think you can ever replicate this. And here is a headlock, which we got 2 and some back points, but here comes Byer. This is where we've seen a difference in Byer, where he might have been pinned there. He ends up coming out, only giving up 4, so a 2-point takedown, 2 back points, and a 4-0 lead for Casey Deers going into the second period. So I kind of got off topic there a little bit, Jason, and that's a great question, and one that I think a lot of coaches are trying to figure out as this has been such a strange year. So start of the second period, 1:45. Again, team score, 12-10 Yellow Jackets. Individual score, Deers leads 4-0. Byers in the down position, trying to get his point escape here. Deers with a quick deep waist ride, kind of sneaking his shoulders back up and flattening out Byer, but Byer's doing a good job trying to get to his base. Saw some different moves out of Deers, so let's see what happens. But Byer stands up, trying to peel the hands, running away from him. A good trip there by Deers. Actually, an excellent trip. Kind of brought him back to the mat. And for those of you at home, you can only stand up with them so long before that stall point comes. So that was one of the things Byer was trying to hang on there, maybe to get that first stall warning. There's an excellent trip and a kind of a hard return to the mat. And that sometimes, Jason, takes the wind out of you more than the riding time or whatever, is that return to the mat. It's soft, but it's not that soft. Again, they go out of bounds, and it's still 4-0, 1 minute to go in the second. So early takedown to the back for 2 points in a kind of a headlock situation by Deers. Otherwise, nice job by Byer. Byer tries a switch right off the whistle. Nice job by Deers. Now he's got Byer in kind of a bad spot because he's got his legs crossed, but Byer's smart. He sees where he is on the mat, kind of that situational wrestling, and he works his way off. So middle of the mat, that might have been a dangerous spot for Mr. Carson Byer, but he knew where he was, and that was a great job by him.
He's one of those wrestlers that we've seen is kind of growing up on the mat throughout the season as it's wore on.
Right, and I'm sure Carson's frustrated with his record a little bit and what he thinks he can do versus what his record was. The fact of the matter is, when you're in that 132, 138-pound weight class as a ninth grader, you're seeing a lot of seniors just like he is tonight. And sometimes it's just young man strength versus man strength. And that's, I see a little bit of difference in that right now when Byer, in 2 years, he's going to be out of that and looking for his own takedown. At this point, Deers has just got a little bit more of that strength, and he returns him to the mat. But nice job here, 4-0. I'm pretty sure this is a spot where the Lakers are thinking bonus points, 14 seconds to go in the second period, and a 4-0. And Byer stands up right away, but nice job by Deers to bring him back down.
And that will send the period to a close. Deers up 4-0 after 2 as we head to the third. Going to apologize, no scoreboard available this weekend due to things that we're trying to work out, but unfortunately we can't have that, so we will try to update you as much as we possibly can via our broadcast or as well through the chat on the stream as well.
You'll get the vocal scoreboard as much as we can. Deers takes down, so a minute 50, 10 seconds in. little headlock action there. Now they're both in a headlock action, which turns out to be a bad deal for Beyer. Beyer ends up on the short end of the stick on this headlock, and there's a quick fall, which took a really good match and turned it really quickly. And you got to give Carson credit. He was trying, but it just didn't work out his way, as Deers did a nice job re-headlocking him and with the fall. So that puts the team score 16 for the Lakers, 12 for the Yellow Jackets.
Wrestling 138 pounds for the Lakers, senior Hunter Decker. And for Perham,
Now we seem like we're a little bit more on pace. For the Lakers, we have Hunter Decker, a senior. And for the Yellow Jackets, we have Jacob McCleary coming out, 10th grader, I believe, Jason.
Junior.
Oh, junior.
Yep.
Man, they're getting old on me fast.
The multi-sport athletes, as many of these guys are.
Right, we've touched on McCleary being one of those cross-country runners for Coach Morris and getting better every time on the mat after taking a few years away from wrestling. Came back and now is doing a nice job for the Yellow Jackets. He was in on a single, now do a double, but they go out of bounds. So smart wrestling there by Hunter Decker, a senior at 138 pounds.
Again, team scores 16-12 in favor of the Lakers of Howard Lake Waverly Winstead. As we approach the 1 minute mark of this opening period, we're scoreless between McCleary and Decker here at 138.
McCleary's record's at 4-16, Jason, but I think in probably the 9 duels we've covered, he's been ahead in probably 8 of those 9, and something just went awry, kind of a little bit like Carson Beyer's last match, where it was a great match. In fact, we're kind of going right here, headlock again, and this time he gets it. So we'll see what happens. It's a headlock, re-headlock position, but now he's settling in, but now he's going to get a takedown. He's going to get 2 back points and then a reversal. So that was dangerous. I've seen more headlocks tonight, Jason, than I've seen in a long time. And sometimes it works great, and sometimes it doesn't work so great. So again, McCleary was in that spot. This has kind of been 7 seconds remaining here in the first period. And looking for a cradle here is Decker, but he runs out of time. So that's a little bit of the story of what we've seen out of McCleary this year. And it's just it's one of those things, it's a feel on the mat, I think. And as he wrestles more, he's going to get that feel. He threw in a nice headlock, but then kind of got re-headlocked. But he's up 4-2 starting the second period. McCleary in the down position, and right away here's an armbar thrown in. So a great job of rolling the wrist underneath by Decker. And Decker rolls the wrist underneath, but McCleary's walking, stepping right into him. Let's see what happens here. He's got him kind of in a bad spot. Official Paul Beach is watching that arm. The coaching staff from the Lakers is really watching here, and Jacob spins right out of there. And that's the one thing, Jason, is he has been tremendous in the getting out of bad situations. So great job there by Jacob McCleary, and he gets the escape.
He does a good job. Like you said, he's been in a lot of exciting matches that we've had to broadcast throughout the year, and just seems like he's on the cusp of making some big moves and a couple of big W's for him.
Right, and I think even that it's one of those things you look at. If he would have had what kind of the pre-Christmas to get going, I think you would have seen a different McCleary out here. Confidence is definitely building for him. You just see it right here in what he's doing, and he's got a 5-2 lead with 45 seconds remaining, doing a good job of being patient. But there's a nice single. We're back into that headlock, but there's that situation again, and 2 points. So now it's 5-4. Decker, again, McCleary kind of felt that headlock position, didn't really have it, and when he kind of went half speed at it, Decker saw his opportunity and went in there. So 20 seconds remaining, 5-4. This could be an interesting one going into the third period. Here we got an armbar again. He's really good at rolling that wrist, but McCleary's been good about sitting out of that. and he does it again. He just kind of jumps out. We had a couple counts. We're going to see what he gets. I believe 2. 2 is the call. So that puts Decker up 6-5 going into the third. And it's Decker's choice, so he goes down, which would give him that 2-point lead, which gives you a little bit more sense of security that a takedown would only tie it and not give it up. So he stands up right off the whistle, but nice job of McCleary on a deep waist. And let's see what McCleary a lot of times likes to cradle, but Decker's kind of a long wrestler like McCleary. So let's see if he tries some different stuff here. 1:40 remaining. He's got that Iowa hooked in. Really got that leg cranked up there and trying for a power half. Again, it's fun watching both coaching staffs. They stood up and the cradle went in. And let's see how or if he can defend this, Decker. He's up by 1, 6-5 with 1:20 remaining. And McCleary's got it locked in pretty good, but Decker does a great job of just posting that arm, and then all of a sudden, Jacob kind of gave up on it. I don't know if it was slipping a little bit, and now here comes Decker out, not only with the escape, but with the reversal, and now leads 8-5 with a minute remaining in the third.
16-12, team score, Howard Lake, Waverly Winstead. And you kind of wonder, experience a little bit playing a role in that spot. You know, we talked about the time off. I know it's late in the year, but we talked McCleary was away from the sport for a couple of years.
Yeah, and I apologize. I wish I should have probably tried harder. I'd like to know the records of these guys. It would help out a lot. We've got some information, but it's just the distance teams it's harder to get. And here's Decker with 35 seconds trying to hook up his own cradle here. So I guess the old saying is you cradle a cradler. We were talking about last night how Pelican girls like to press, and the Perham girls started to press them. So you press a pressing team. Yeah, I guess you try to use the same move on somebody who does it. But 8-5 lead. Really a great match here, ladies and gentlemen, by both wrestlers. Here's kind of that roll of that wrist, and he gets it, pins it on the back. He's got to be careful now not to get that separation. There's 8 seconds left here. Jacob does a really good job in this situation, but it looks like he may give up a couple back points. I don't know. Yes, he did. He awarded him 2. I saw 1 count for sure, was waiting on the second one, so that makes a 10-5 decision. For Decker, 10-5 for Decker over Jacob McCleary, which takes our team score to 19 for the Lakers, 12 for the Yellow Jackets.
That'll bring us to 145. It would be a freshman, Stephen Huber. And Jack LaFond for the Yellow Jackets.
So Stephen Huber not on our match list. So again, some movement going, and Jack LaFond also not on our match list. So this is maybe one of them that's anybody's game in a toss-up. But nice job by LaFond in on a single, but Huber just kind of stayed. And I think if he would have stayed on the back and tried to take him down, he might have had his takedown there, but certainly didn't feel comfortable. So offense for both of these guys so far, and at 100 with 1:16 remaining, 0-0. I was kind of hoping that they'd put the weight that they're at on the scoreboard, because we get writing and going frantically, and sometimes we forget. But we're at 145 pounds here. 1 minute remaining in the first period. 0-0. A lot of arm tie, Russian tie type, heavy on the head, collar ties. So both wrestlers just really kind of finding their way here on the mat, and I would guess as they get a little bit more comfortable, maybe we'll start to see offense. We did see right away, here we got double unders, kind of in a body lock. There's a throw, and he did get his 2. No back points. There was a count of 1. I almost thought there was a count of 2, but so 2-0 for Huber, and Huber's running trying to run an arm bar over there a little bit, it looked like. But to no avail. 15 seconds remaining in the first period, 2-0 Huber, and he gets a tilt in, and he's got this tilt in good, which is he's got plenty of time to get his 5 count, rolls it back over, still in the same spot. Now he's got a different move in, and I think he gets 2 more. So let's see, did he only give him 2? I thought he counted the first time and then counted the second time, but I could be wrong. It looks like 4-0 is the score to start, and both wrestlers up. So started the second period. Again, 19-12 in favor of the Lakers right now. Again, I think Huber's found that he likes this upper body stuff going with LaFawn, so you see him in that high collar tie, probably trying to slip back into those double unders there. He takes kind of a half-hearted shot, but now that shot leads to him jacking him up again a little bit there, but nice job by LaFawn keeping those arms in tight and not giving it up at this point. Minute 15 remaining in period number 2, 4-0 lead. There's a nice low shot met by LaFawn in the front headlock. But again, here's just pure power, I think, again. Gets the 2-point takedown for Huber, which makes it 6-0, and some back points coming here. So a minute remaining. Both coaching staffs doing a great job here. And here as a quick... Boy, LaFawn's doing a nice job of holding himself off the mat for this long, but there's 45 seconds remaining, and there is the pin. So a nice pin there by Hubert. And that gives 6 more points to the Lakers, and they lead 25-12 heading into 152.
Well, the Yellow Jackets, we've touched on it a lot this year. They have a way of testing themselves facing some of the tough squads that they have this year.
Right, and I think we got a switch here. I'm not sure if I heard it or not. I think this is Wiley Wegert, a 9th grader. So I apologize if it's not. It's hard to catch the announcer tonight a little bit. I don't think we're in a real good spot for that, Jason. But I think this is Wiley Wegert.
I believe that's what it sounded like to me, especially when I see, and this is guessing going by the roster, who they're matching them up against with Jack Fudge.
Yep, and Jack Fudge at 152. So Wegert is 9th grader and a nice built 9th grader. Wow. And holding his own right now with 1:10 to go. With Jack Fudge and Jack Fudge, for those of you, if you're tuning in from Perham, you probably know all this, but if you're tuning in from Howard Lake, Waverly, Winstead, Jack Fudge has finished 3rd in state last year, just recorded his 175th win, currently rated 3rd by the Guillotine in Class 2A, and is 19-1 on the season. So, and there's what we've come to know and love about Jack. A really nice move, really calculated, and doing a great job. So 2-point takedown with 30 seconds remaining. Fudge with a nice ride here, trying to stick his arm kind of in the armpit there, trying to separate that arm, probably get that arm peeled back and get it to his back and then make some moves. But we're running short on time here in the first period with 10 seconds. And and Jack does kind of roll that wrist through. He does have it now. Man, Weigert's a strong young man for a freshman. And I hope we have this right. And if you're listening from Howard Lake and we don't, please let us know. But what a strong young man and a really good wrestler here. And I would probably think it's him. Last year, a little bit on Weigert is 3rd in the section, 23-9 last year as an 8th grader. So definitely he is someone who is accustomed to the mat, and I'm just impressed with his power, Jason.
He's a built youngster and is doing a nice job against Jack Fudge here as we have 1:40 to go in the second period. at 152 here. And for Jack, this is a nice test coming back to the mat after a while.
Right, and I think it's one of those situations probably, I think, from what I heard, Howard Lake, Waverly Winstead is kind of in the same setup, the same things happening as the Yellow Jackets. It's nice to maybe not get some early pins because I think they need to get that mat sense back and maybe get those lungs back by wrestling the full 6 minutes. So 3-0 now with escape in favor of Fudge.
Well, that's something you kind of touched on earlier is, you can't replicate the competition that you get in the match. You can do so many things in practice. When you go head-to-head, you can't replicate that.
Right. And a part of that's just the adrenaline and the being excited to be on the mat. And here's Fudge with another takedown. Again, he's got those legs wrapped up again, and this is a place that Jack likes to kind of take him over, and there's 44 seconds remaining, so he has plenty of time to do that. Let's see what he does. I'm impressed with the Lakers coaching staff, too. They're there for their kids, just like the Yellow Jackets. So two well-coached squads right now going at each other.
It is pronounced Wiegerts as he's on the mat, so he's got
Nice.
the right guy. But and I know as I was talking about replicating the weight room or in the locker room type stuff, I know there's some pass prone teams that might disagree with that with the guys that they had in the past few years during their run.
Yeah, it's we were fortunate, to say the least, to watch with 5 seconds remaining. The teams we had, a nice 5-year run of section championships, multiple state place winners, 5th being the lowest, up to 3rd, and 4 guys for sure that are in the 150 win club or ahead. So sometimes when you have a squad like that and you're taking on the Simleys and the St. Michaels of the world and beating them, at that point, you're probably getting just about as much competition in the wrestling room as you are going to other places. But, that was a fun run, and I expect the same kind of things out of these kids as we watch this program grow. 5-0. Sorry, Jason. I'll let you take over with the scoreboard stuff.
I was just to say, third period underway with 1:40 to go. We apologize again, trying to update the scores as we can in the chat and verbally throughout.
So give me his name one more time again, Jason. Wiegert. I apologize for that. Doing the best I can trying to hear and get pronunciation. So Wiegert doing a great job. 5-0 for Fudge. And this is, you can tell the quality of wrestler because any wrestler that goes out against Fudge, I'm expecting bonus points. And 5-0 with a minute to go here in the third period shows his strength and power. So again, Fudge working those legs, kind of jacking the leg up, as we would say, and now working on that head and trying to kind of bully him over a little bit, so to speak. And Wiegert's having nothing to do with it. It's not a fun position. There's the first stall. Kind of a tough position when he's got that leg wrapped up. It's hard for him to get his base back, but he's trying there and doing a good job. So 30 seconds remain, 5-0 in favor of Fudge, and there is time to get one more stall here. But I think Fudge is looking for back points and trying to narrow that score, the team score of 25-12 in favor of the Lakers. Boy, that was a nice job by Wiegert there to get his leg back, but then Jack just goes right into the other leg. There's a stall call, which he'll take because it's not going to get to the bonus, and you can tell by the coaching staff and Wiegert's teammates how excited they were, and that's one of those, Jason, that you've talked about, not giving up bonus points sure makes it almost like a win for them.
Now the score after 1:52 is 25-15 in favor of the Lakers. As Brandon Knott is out for the Lakers. And Blake Lawrence returned for the Yellow Jackets.
So as we're going here, I think there's a couple wrestlers out for Howard Lake, Waverly Winstead, and the way they're covering it up is bumping everybody up in the lineup. So you're going to see maybe some weight mismatches here just a little bit, and it could be, too, that weighing in is a little tougher here. But Blake Lawrence, a little time off with a little injury, now coming back, looking good. Ready to wrestle with a quick takedown there with 1:25 remaining in the first period. So nice to have Blake back in the lineup, and there's a traditional Blake Lawrence tilt there, and they tilted out of bounds. And for the Lakers, we have Brandon Knott, a sophomore, weighed in or on our roster, says at 152, wrestling at 160 tonight. Escape there for Knott, right back in the single, kind of shelves that ankle, looking for the takedown, got it, and so now 4-1 lead with 1:09 remaining. 1:09 remaining in the first period. Blake says, "Hey, let's both go up and let's play the takedown game here a little bit." So 4-2 and right in on that kind of that power double. We used to see that power double a lot from Jesse Hine, for those of you listening that remember watching Jesse. He lets Knott back up again, right back into that double. And I think it's one of those, that legs crossed again, so definitely a spot maybe for a power half or kind of that cheap tilt in there. As you can see, he's got that ankle hook, so getting back points, it's getting tighter now. And definitely looking for the fall here is Blake Lawrence.
And Hine, one of the outstanding linemen at BSU in his career as a Beaver, helping the Beavers to some unprecedented success on the gridiron.
We look at the Wall of Fame and see Jesse and his brother Jordan up over here on the pictures kind of, and there's the fall for Blake. And so great to have that cog back in the lineup. So fall for Blake Lawrence brings the score to 25-21 in favor of the Lakers, heading to 170 pounds.
I have to always give out the shout out to BSU when you can, so it's a good one there. And Isaac Bussey on the mat for the Lakers.
And Hudson Hackle for the Yellow Jackets. Yeah, no problem shouting out for the BSU Beavers from me, as I'm a former grad there myself. This might be one of those pivotal matches, and Hudson's been one of those fun wrestlers to watch, Jason. I think we've watched multiple times where we've kind of thought, hey, man, he is out of this one, and then all of a sudden, somehow, some way, he ends up in a good position and gets some good bonus points for the Yellow Jackets. So in on a single, great wizard there by Bussey, and now a front head lock position for Hackle, kind of looking to just steamroll a little bit maybe here, but Bussey says none of that, and he stands up and kind of pushes off the mat. So 1 minute remaining, 0-0, and we have a blood timeout, which we can take a little time here. We haven't spent a lot of time. Howard Lake, Waverly Winstead, if you're just joining us, comes out of Section 4A, so a single A team. They've wrestled a lot of good competition. Again, Atwater, Cosmos, Grove City, they've wrestled, and they're in that area where they can wrestle the Delanos, the Beckers, Paynesville, Belgrade, Bruton, El Rosa, who is a top, Annandale, Maple Lake, who is been a foe of the Yellow Jackets down at the state tournament, both individually and as a team. Rockford, New London Spicers. So they wrestle quality teams inside and out. So for those of you maybe surprised that it's 25-21 in favor of the Lakers after looking at the quality of competition and what they bring, I'm not so surprised. So again, it's going to be a fun one throughout. There's some interesting things. They're open at 182, but they've been bumping everybody up, so that might cover that a little bit. They're open at 285, so let's see. They've got a couple openings, and I know here's a single leg by Hackle, but neither one's in probably the best position that they want to be right now. And let's just see who comes out on top of this one. And there's a lot of surfboarding and a lot of headlocking and a lot of I don't think either wrestler's really comfortable right now, but that is 2 right at the buzzer. So 2 for Bussy right at the buzzer, and that was the scramble beyond scrambles, Jason, and kind of what we've been used to or accustomed to from Hackle.
Well, we've always seen a lot of unique things. I still remember that stands out, that Grand Rapids match where he thought he was going to get taken down and just plopped on his opponent, got the pin. You never know what you're going to end up getting from Hudson besides, an exciting match.
Right. And I believe we're far enough at 170. I know one of them that they said is not wrestling tonight is Colin Boise, which would probably be a relative to the 120. Was last year's section champion, 2-2 at state, currently ranked 6th at 160 pounds. So we passed by his slot there, and on the program it says not wrestling tonight. So a little disappointment for Yellow Jackets fans. We were kind of looking forward to anytime you can see kids. That's the one thing I'll tell you is kind of take those names down, because as you get to the state tournament and you start listening on the radio, you start to hear these names come through, and it's fun to say, I saw him wrestle in Perham. 3-0, escape, 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining. Hackle's in on those singles, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here if he can get one of those finished, but it just seems like Bussy's just kind of got that knack of getting out of them. So here Hudson just goes right through him, and it just kind of a body lock, kind of almost a football tackle move it looked like, and just kind of overpowered him. And again, I think they're wrestling up, so not always does that make a difference, but sometimes it does.
44 seconds to go, second period. Hackle trailing by a point. Yellow Jackets trailing by 4 in the team score.
Right, and you would have to think in the next at 182 they're open, but if they keep bumping up, Tyler, they got Tyler, I'm going to try to pronounce that one, Jason, with your help maybe.
I would go Tyler Grazik.
I will too as a 9th grader, so you'd have to think Ramos is definitely the favorite there. So this is going to be a big match right here, and Hackle again in a single, but the same thing as Bussy just kind of rolls him through, and now there's the 2, and he's looking for back points right here. So 6-2, getting back points, 4 seconds remaining in the period, and let's see if he gets his 5, and he does right with a second to go. So there's 3 more points, so it's 9-2, 9-2. So again, he hasn't given up that major decision. Hackle goes down.
It's kind of unique. I don't mean to interrupt you, Lance, but
No,
watching both coaches on each side as they pace their sidelines coaching here, I think they both realize that this is one of those matches that's kind of key towards the outcome of this match.
Right, and it might not even be the win. It might be, like you said before, Jason, just the bonus points alone. And Bussy's really a hard worker on top. He puts great shoulder pressure on. When Hudson took down, Hudson's had such great ability to get on that single leg. I kind of thought maybe they would go both up. I'm not questioning the coaching staff because they know their kids way better than I do. But here we're trying to lock up a cradle. As you can see, he's got that cross face in, and he's kind of bringing him together, and he does have it hooked in. Hudson's got a great base, and this is where Hudson's strength really has shown this year. He's tough to pull over, but Bussy, again, probably wrestling up a weight class, tries to spin, and we've seen this before, and Hudson almost did it again, Jason. We've seen him twice now stick a kid on there, but this time it doesn't work to his advantage, and a big fall, and a really fun match to watch there.
And we got a correction. It's Tyler Gracek. So our first attempt was off, but Tyler Gracek is his name.
Gracek, I like it.
Now wrestling at 182 pounds from the Lakers, Tyler Gracek. And for Perham, Ryan Ramos.
I kind of put you in a bad spot there, Jason, by asking you. So Grotchek, a 9th grader versus Ramos. And for those of you listening, Brian Ramos was a state entrant last year, got injured, hurt his knee in the state tournament, went 1 and out, just got a 75th win, currently ranked 10 in the guillotine, and has an 18-1 record and has been a takedown machine this year. And he's right back at it the way it looks right now, and he takes his first takedown at 1 minute and 29 seconds, looks for that cradle, wraps it up. We're getting back points, and he hooks, and now let's see if he can get that leg hooked over the top. He's got his knee in the side, trying to pull him back, doing just an excellent job here. Gets his back points there, so 3, so takes a 9-2 lead.
Sorry, Lance, 14 of his 18 wins have been by fall this year as well for the Yellow Jackets, and he's a takedown machine into the pin.
Yeah, and that's what we've seen is he does this. He takes down, then right back into that cradle. Grychek's kind of giving him that cradle, and he's taking it. He does takedowns, Jason, until he gets into his pinning move, and then he does it. Here might be the pinning move. It looks like he's – oh, nice job by Grychek, and there's the 3, so it should be 14-3. I don't know if they already get – yep, 14-3. And so we're still 30 seconds to go, and there's 16-4 right now. So we're getting close to that Tech Fall situation. So if we're going to get a pin here, it's going to have to happen. 20 seconds remaining. It's going to have to happen as another escape. So it's 16-5, 11-point advantage, and right back in on that single, and makes it 18-5. So 13. 3 seconds remaining, and it looks like we'll fight on to the second period here, but not surprised with Ramos here.
I'm sure you noticed, but Brian, with 8 seconds to go, looked up at the clock to see what the time was. I think knowing the score and the situation, decided not to go for a couple additional points there as he's getting ready for this next period.
Yeah, and now he takes an optional start and right into a headlock. Like a cross-face headlock, got him tight, and there's the pin. So, again, Ramos kind of baiting him into that spot and really tightens up the score. So now it's the Lakers 31, the Yellow Jackets 27. Nice job there by Brian Ramos.
It's Colton Long, a 9th grader. And if I want to guess who's a 9th grade, until I look at the program.
No, nice, really nice looking athletes, and this has probably been for the Yellow Jackets. Gordon Inyard's probably been one of the key cogs, Jason. It always seems like when we need a big win or something, this is the spot for him, and he's a cradling machine. And right back into his cradle, and you can see he hooks that leg across, gets the knee in the side. He's got this one tight. But let's see if Long can work his way out of it. He seems to be rocking yet, but, ooh, that's tight. So minute 15, that's a long time to, as Gordon throws in his cradle. He's up 5-0, but there's the pin, and he was looking for 6, and that's a big change, and that's a tough spot for a freshman to be in. Which puts the Yellow Jackets up 33-31 on our scoreboard. So 33-31 going into 2:20. And we'll have Aaron Burr coming out, a senior for the Yellow Jackets.
At 220 pounds for the Lakers, Danny Mossford. And for Perham, Aaron Burr.
We have Danny Mossford coming out for the Lakers. Mossford was last year's section champion, went 2-2 at state. Currently ranked 9 in Class A at 220 pounds by the guillotine. So a quality wrestler here for the Lakers. And they're open. They did weigh 2. Looks like they might have weighed a couple people in at 220. So we'll see what happens here. But this is another duel, Jason, that's going to go right down to the wire for us. It seems like what we're bringing to magnitude this year.
It seems definitely to be the case. Last night a 1-point girls basketball game. Now another duel down to the wire. We've had many duels and basketball games go that way. Just a reminder, if you're looking forward to the next one, we will start a new stream for Badger, Greenbush, Mill River, and HLWW. We'll have that coming up next on a new stream.
That's some fancy speaking you did there, Jason. We're getting all the initials and.
I'm getting close to throwing in a WWE or an AEW. We'll see.
Yeah, there we go. So 55 seconds remaining, 0-0. So nice job by Aaron Burr in a match that I would guess that the Lakers are thinking that they should be favored, if not heavily favored. A lot of talking for me in the last couple days, so pardon me for a few mistakes there. But here we go. So 30 seconds remaining. Good job by Burr. A lot of fighting, a lot of hand fighting, collar ties going on, looking at the top, doing those sorts of things. I think we'll see a shot here probably, if not right away in the second period, or at the end of this period, right away in the second period, as Mossford just kind of maybe sizing up his competition. And there's the end of the first period. And it's 0-0. It's Mossberg's choice. He takes down. Again, scoring the first point a lot of times is beneficial if you ever go into overtime. That first point scored sometimes comes into play. So he stands right up as we get going. And breaks the hands. He turns right into him, and there's the 1-point escape. So at 1:50 seconds in the second, he gets that escape, kind of has that a half underhook under and an overhook. So we'll see what he's doing. It's almost like he's sizing up Burr right now to see what he wants to do. Here we're in a little bit of a body lock, and then he lets that go. So interesting here that it hasn't been high action, but I think it's real calculated action. Minute 15 on the clock, still 1-0. And good job by Burr here because, like I said, I'm guessing by the rank of the wrestler that this is a spot that probably the Lakers are looking for more than just 3 points to give them a 1-point lead going into heavyweight. One minute remaining. 33 Yellow Jackets, 31 Lakers on your team scoreboard. 1-0 in favor of the Lakers here, so they would go back on top, even albeit for maybe a short while, depending on what happens at heavyweight. They're open on our on our score sheet, but that they do have a couple people that look like may have weighed in, so we'll see what happens here. And actually, I see a couple wrestlers pacing over there, so we'll see what happens. So that maybe they weighed in a couple more than we think yet. 20 seconds remaining. Not a ton of action here, just kind of almost like a heavyweight match, Jason, where a lot of collar ties, a lot of hand fighting, and maybe a couple Russian guys in there, and just kind of driving each other around the mat with 3 seconds to go.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing when you mentioned it. It seemed like it was just that heavyweight battle, trying to jockey for position that you see in many of those heavyweight matches that go down to the wire.
Right, and like all good heavyweight matches, it seems like by the third period something has to give, and let's see what happens here. So Burr takes both up, and again, probably is feeling more comfortable on his feet than having Mr. Mossford in the top position. So a tight arm there. Again, Burr's doing a good job of defending, and I don't sense any real rush by Mossford to do it. He's pretty calculated in his moves, but I would guess that something he's going to want to score some points here pretty soon. Even though he leads 1-0.
And you just don't want to avoid. You want to avoid that slip up that could end up being constantly on the scoreboard here, both ways. And
that's one of the games within the game. It seems like with wrestling is it's a kind of an individual sport with a team result. So right here he might be wrestling for his team with 55 seconds remaining, up 1-0. He may be happy with 1-0 because it would give the team the lead. I guess I'm always of the nature of the more points we can score, the better.
I like being the aggressor, but I think the coaching staff probably knows him well enough to know that he may have had some chances earlier in the year that came back to cost him. And that might be one of those situations they're just trying to get the 3 points here, get the 1 point edge going into 285.
And there's the slip behind, and that's some of the action that I was expecting. 20 seconds remaining, 3-0 lead now. The coaches are telling look where you're at, look where you're at. You're on the edge of the mat. Don't give up anything bigger here than what you need to. So it looks like with 7 seconds remaining, they go out of bounds. It looks like it's going to be a 3-0 decision in favor of Danny Mossford. So, again, I give credit to Aaron Burr there. What a nice match by him to limit this to a 3-point decision, which puts the Lakers back in the lead at 34-33 going into heavyweight. And this is kind of what you look forward to as we go.
It's just not surprised that this is going to 285.
And it looks like they
Wrestling heavyweight for the Lakers, Jacob Dusky.
That's Jacob Dusky and Reese Wilprecht for the Yellow Jackets.
So definitely size advantage to Wilprick. He's in on a leg right away, but really nice job, heavy on the head by Dusky. Dusky, a sophomore for the Lakers, and Reese Wilprick, a junior.
Once again, following the conclusion of this one, we will start up a new stream for Badger, Greenbush, Middle River, and Howard Lake, Waverly, Winstead. BGMR against HLWW. I'm stop.
Yep, there's a lot of letters in there. Make for a good Scrabble game. Minute 15 remaining, 0-0 tie. So real impressed here with Dusky so far. Wilprick got on that early single, and Dusky fended it off, got real heavy on the head. Now he's just pulling. So, again, let's reset this for you. We got a minute left in the first period, 34-33 in favor of the Lakers. So any win by Wilprick will result in a team win, and any win for Dusky will result in a team win for the Lakers. And that's where I kind of thought maybe the Lakers at 220 were going to look for some bonus points. They get 4, all of a sudden it's tied, and we got to go to criteria. But here goes Dusky behind. 25 seconds remaining. He's pulling with all his might, but the size difference. Now, he tried to go in on a single. So good action by Dusky, the sophomore, of getting Wilprick a little bit off balance. 10 seconds remaining here. And nice job by Dusky. He's kind of after that initial single leg there by Wilprick, he's done a great job of kind of driving the bus here. So we're going to go into the second period, tied 0-0. Wilprick defers, which is probably a smart move. Now if it's still 0-0, he can go down, or he has his choice where he's most comfortable. Dusky, obviously I believe a good choice by the coaching staff. They said don't go down, go both up. You've kind of been working. So he goes right back to those double collar ties, and he's just kind of cranking and trying to wear on Reese Wilprick a little bit here. So nice job. Reese was behind him, just kind of didn't go after that shot there. Maybe one that the coaching staff, looking at them a little bit, you can see him off to the corner of the screen. They were really looking for him to take advantage of that one. So minute 20, 0-0, still 34-33 on your scoreboard. Lakers up, and now you're starting to see as this second period winds down, fans are starting to get into it. Each group starting to cheer a little bit more for their wrestlers. So whoever you're rooting for here, it's going down. The final minute of the second period. Wilprick in a little better position here now. He has Dusky's arms tied up a little bit, but Dusky does a great job of just getting out of it. Kind of a same height, but a slender build, and obviously weighed in at 220. So definitely giving up some weight here to Wilprick, but doing a great job just with body balance and work here. So this is a good one. 25 seconds remain. 0-0 yet. That's one of the things I've grown to love about wrestling is in a heavyweight match when it's 0-0, I'm just as involved as if it's 8-6 or 8-7 because you just don't know what's coming. Dusky goes back to those double collar ties. You can see he's just trying to wear out Reese a little bit, and then when Reese makes a false step, he went in on that single and a go behind. So a takedown here would be huge. Wilprick goes down. And one of the good things if Reese can power up is good. If he gets flattened here, it's usually not so good. So he got that initial stand up. So great job by Reese Wilprick. He's up 1-0, 1:48 remaining. The Lakers coaching staff says cut him. Let's try to get this takedown and win. He's right back in that double collar tie and trying to wear on Reese. A minute 30 remains in this. 1-0 Wilprick. 34-33 on our scoreboard, and I'm growing to expect nothing less, Jason, when we're on the air.
Oh, it's always down to the wire when we're here at the Hive, and it's another fun one. And these two guys, you know, there's a lot of things that lead up to it, but the pressure always seems to find 285.
Right, it's one of those things we talked about way in the back with Fargo Davies is the North Dakota, you kind of flip for a weight and you start from there, but not so in Minnesota, so it comes down to this one. Wilprick in on a single right now, 58 seconds, and this would be a huge takedown, and the Yellow Jackets fans are up, the Lakers fans are up, and whoever you're rooting for, you just want to holler for them right now. Wilprick trying everything he can, and there he gets the takedown and back point. So huge takedown for Wilprick and for the Yellow Jackets. And credit all to Dusky, too. He battled there. 30 seconds remain. It's now 5-0, and here goes Wilprick trying to roll him over, and I think he's going to get there. Let's see if he does, and he does, and now he's chest to chest, and there's the fall. So nice work by Reese Wilprick, and I'll give just as much credit to Dusky. He did a great job for almost all. The pin came with 17 seconds left in the third, which makes our final score Perham 39, the Lakers 34, and that's about everything we could have asked for, Jason.
It was an outstanding duel between these two teams, very evenly matched, and a nice victory in the end for the Yellow Jackets. They were able to get some key bonus points throughout the night. Chandler Mickelson early, a Garrett Covington pin as well. Then you got the big pins late from Ramos, Enyart, and then Wilprick to seal the deal.
You know, and great job by the Yellow Jackets. If you're the Lakers, you're without one of your main cogs tonight, at least one of them that I know of. Definitely at 160 when you got a returning state entrant and section champion, that makes a big difference. And when the score was as tight as it was there, you just never know what that one thing is. So we'll come back, recap this one real quickly as they're going to get started for the other one. But we'll give our sponsors a little commercial break, and we'll come back and give you a quick recap.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rusted, Chief Lending Officer with United Community Bank. I'm just excited we've been partnering with businesses for over 100 years. Come and see why so many of your friends and neighbors have put their trust in United Community Bank. Stop in and see us in Perham, Frazee, and Dent, or you can visit us online at ucbankmn.com. We're excited for you to be part of our community, United Community Bank.
United Community
Welcome back here at the Hive. Yellow Jackets with a nice 39-34 victory over Howard Lake, Waverly, Winstead, and Lance. Some big wins for the Yellow Jackets here tonight to get the big W after a little bit of a layoff.
Right, and I think this is the type of match you need coming back off that layoff. Really well coached, great athletes. They did such a super job, the Lakers, and that this match could have went either way. There were multiple matches in there that I saw were toss-ups, and again, Howard Lake, Waverly, Winstead wrestling without Colin Bosey tonight, a returning state entrant. So great job by the Yellow Jackets. It was a fun one to watch. I think the rest of the night's going to be equally as good. I know Badger Greenbush Middle River's coming in. They've had a couple of losses as of late, which might spur them a little bit on to come getting ready for tournament time as well. So we'll kind of get that started as you see the mats. We're going to start another stream. So if you're looking for Badger Greenbush Middle River and Howard Lake Waverly Winstead, a new stream will be started in about 2-3 minutes. So look for that.
The proceeding has been a presentation of the Magnitude Sports Media Network. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and to order a DVD copy of this broadcast, simply visit msportsnet.com/DVD.